Radio. Coming at you live on MP3 from high on a hill above beautiful Lake Washington. My name is Lestro, and with me as always is the Guru.
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
And you know how this goes. We're here to talk a little trash on the week's worth of sports. I don't know anybody except the Guru, and the Guru knows all.
Man, I know just a little something, man. Just a little something, man.
Guru, it is episode number 75, and we've got the almanac to look back at the draft that was. Who won? Who lost? And who surprised? And even in a D-line heavy draft, there were still quarterback surprises. Which team got their QBs of the future and which teams got busted? Plus, who were the sleeper picks? You know, the sneaky smart ones this year? And then, what the hell is John Gruden doing anyway? Plus, you know we got a 2-minute drill. Guru, it's Trash Talk Radio, episode number 75.
Let's roll.
How you doing, man? It's good to see you.
Man, I am living the dream, man. Don't you pinch me, man. Don't you pinch me.
Did you have a good weekend? We had a nice sunny weekend out here in
Lestro.
Washington. Feeling like spring, feeling good.
How you ask me that question? You over here this
I
weekend.
saw you this weekend. Was
you
a good
saw
one.
me this weekend, man. The little nephew had a birthday, 2 years old, so invite Lestro and the wife. You know, appreciate y'all coming with little Calvin. Lestro got the Calvin Klein baby. I'm telling y'all, man. Y'all got to go IG. He got to get his own IG page. That's what it is. He can't even get his IG page right because he get like 3 million followers, you know?
Yeah, I can't
He's
do
the
that.
Cutest freaking blue-eyed baby, man. I'm like, he didn't get it from the dad. I'll tell you that.
He did not. He
I'm
did not
looking
get
at
it
him
from his
right now.
dad.
He
No.
definitely didn't look like his damn dad.
No.
That's for sure.
No, in fact, I'm having him tested. I'm pretty sure he's not even mine. I don't know what's going on with a kid that cute.
Hey, that gives me hope, baby. That gives me hope, man.
So yeah, I had a good weekend over here with you guys on Saturday, celebrating the nephew's birthday. Happy second birthday! A good time was had by all. Fun to come over and hang out. Lots of little kids running around, and crazy. It gets crazy at times.
Absolutely.
Good time. Then I don't know about you. I went to see the Avengers this weekend, man.
Don't talk about it because I'm going to see it this weekend.
All right. Okay, but just having a. It's worth it. It's long, man. I recommend not drinking a lot of soda in the beginning. I made a mistake filling up during the previews at one point, and I had to run out, so I missed a minute or two in the middle. I hope it wasn't an important one. You know what I mean? But it's a long movie, great movie. A good time was had by all, and I gotta say, for the second week in a row, I'm feeling pretty good. The Sixers got me a win coming into the podcast. They got beat in game one again, but then they got me a win in game two as we were getting ready to record, and I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Oh, I'm feeling good too, man. I have to you know how I feel about the Sixers. You know what I've been saying the last year and a half about the Sixers. So we're on the same type.
I still think they're the only team that can beat Golden State from the East, but
absolutely.
they're also the least likely of the four to actually get there and face them at this point.
That is facts. That is absolute facts.
I got to tell you, after the game this week, they had 3 quotes that summed up why I love the Sixers in the press conference. It was the press conference after. It wasn't even the game. Great game. Good for them to play. Joel Embiid during that game was a probable. He had gastroenteritis. And so the 3 quotes that summed up this game for me from the press conference, they asked Joel about that, how he was feeling before the game, and he said, well, if you've ever had the shits, you know how it felt. Then they asked the coach about the play of Jimmy Butler, who once again showed up and was playoff Jimmy, exactly who we paid.
Hey, hold up. I remember that trade before all that, but I'm not going to – we'll save that for another time because oh, my God, why would we trade? I love T.J. McConnell. I love this and that.
I'm telling you, we would not have won that game with the team we had with Robert Covington and Dario Saric, and we won it with Jimmy Butler. And playoff Jimmy is worth all of it. He is great
Enjoy
to
it,
watch.
man. It's his last stand in Philly. Enjoy it.
Yeah, right. So they asked Coach about it, and Coach Brett Brown says that was James Butler. He was a man in that gym. And then they asked Jimmy Butler about that, and they said Coach said that was James Butler. He was the man in the gym, and Jimmy Butler said, "That's funny. My name's not James. It's literally Jimmy." And so that was my summing up for the. That's why I love following this team, man. It is nothing quite like the Sixers out there right now. But we're going to look back at the NFL draft, the football
But
here.
we sure had to get Philly Sixers somehow.
I had to get it in. You know I wasn't going to get the hat on.
I can't believe I sat here. I'm sorry, audience. I'm sorry to you. I let that go the whole freaking time.
Well,
he caught me though. He did.
I got him. I just got right past him on it. I knew I could get it in, slip it into the show here in the beginning, because this is our look back at the NFL draft. It is our sort of draft special part 2, Guru.
The grades, man.
Yeah, man. This is the how we look back and see how everybody did in the draft on this one, and you guys were pretty close. We got the Almanac with us again. I'm gonna pull him up. Almanac, can you hear me, man? Are you with us?
Sure, I'm here.
There he is. I knew we'd get him. Guru, I wanted to ask you about this draft. Looking back, we're gonna review your picks. We're gonna look how everyone did. We're gonna find out who won. We're gonna find out who lost, the sleeper picks. I know you love the GM season in here.
Oh,
you love
man,
the front office.
This is the climax. This is the bust in the nut. This is the conclusion. This is the
I know you almost like this better than the game.
Oh my goodness, man! I look at the game to get ready for the off season, for the GM season. So I was excited, man. I was excited, and honestly, and I don't think anyone was horrible, in this draft.
Oh, I disagree.
There was some questionable, and there's TBC, or TBD, whichever method. But I wouldn't necessarily said there was, horrendous draft picks. There was very highly questionable. I'm sorry, I don't want to plug, the Disney Channel, but there was some highly questionable draft choices.
There really were some that I don't even follow this a lot. I don't follow it like you guys do. But there were some when they announced the pick, and I went, really? Really? Now there were some that went kind of chalk for a few rounds there, and then the Raiders went off the board, which we'll get to, I'm sure, as we do this. So this was a surprising quarterback draft. Once again, even though it was a D-line heavy draft, there were a lot of quarterback moves in this one. Before we get started, I just want to ask you guys what you thought of the draft, just in general. Guru, what were your thoughts on watching this draft go down this time?
Just like anything else, you can see the most important position in basically professional sports in America is quarterback. It's finding a franchise quarterback. So you would do anything in your mercy you can, like some team do, to get a quarterback. You might be the worst team to get one. You might trade up and get one or reach for one, or you might just sit back and get one. So either way, what I notice is the importance of the most valuable position in all of American sport. And secondly, that comes with that is the people that actually go hurt the most valuable thing in the world.
Right. If that's the most valuable position, you need a dude that's going to go chase him.
So the best guy in the world that could chase him is also highly coveted, and that's what this draft had. They got a bunch of guys that could chase the most important job in American sport, and that's what I noticed in this NFL draft.
Yeah, you're right, man. There was in the top 10, it was all like quarterbacks and defense, except one tight end. Hawkinson made his way in.
Hawkinson.
Yeah,
that's a special anomaly. That's an anomaly.
That's one of those guys that's gonna make a difference over on there as well. But what about you, Almanac? Did you see notice any themes of this one?
Yeah, the kind of theme that I kind of noticed was it was like he said, like Guru said, if it wasn't quarterback, it was mostly, most teams are mostly focuses on solidifying the lines, like the offensive line or the defensive line, because like we said, it was only one pass catcher drafted in the whole first round, and he was drafted at number 31 to kill Henry to the Patriots, and only with one corner went in the first round. So the wide receivers and cornerbacks, it seems to me that either they thought it was a lot of good depth in the later rounds and they could wait on that position, or to me, it was more important for teams to make sure they solidify those front lines, the offensive lines and the defensive lines. So that's kind of something that I kind of noticed. I was kind of surprised that the corners and wide receivers, dropped to the second day like that.
See, I think the stance in the NFL is just drawn, dude. I think it's very simplistic, and I think the great GMs and the great front office are seeing what's exactly happening. All right, you have to get the most important player, which is the franchise quarterback. If you don't have that, All right. If you do have that, it's a pecking order. Then the most important next thing is to protect that person, right? That's the next thing you do. And then the third thing you do, just like, you know who did this perfectly? My man Chris Ballard from the Colts. You know, you already had a franchise quarterback, which they had, right? So the next thing you protect that franchise quarterback. And then you know what you do after that? You will get guys that could get the other team's franchise quarterback. That's how you develop, and that's how a team exists in this new age of football. That's why you're gonna see the major onset of D-line linemen as far as pass rusher and edge rushers in the next couple of years in the NFL. And that's also going to diminish the value of corners, because at the end of the day, if you have guys that could get to the quarterback, then you don't need a great corner. Does that kind of make sense?
It also seems that a lot of those other positions are becoming a little more interchangeable. The wide receiver positions, the running back positions,
safety.
The safety positions, the sort of the running positions, if you will, the outside. It's not you got to have the guys that can do it, but they're not the focus of the league right now, especially the running backs.
And this is the effect of that rule change as far as the hitting. This is the years and years of that. This is the ultimate effect, because it's a different type of athletes that's out there now. The speed guys, the space guys, because you don't have to get physical no more. It's more of agility. So yes, that's why it's so valuable to get the big guys, because the rules changes didn't affect the big guys. It affected skill guys. That's why you see that's happening. But as the big guys now, you get the big, strong guys that could get to the quarterback, or you got guys that could protect you from those guys getting to the quarterback, you are always going to be successful and be a top-tier team in this National Football League.
Well, let's talk about that position. Let's talk about those quarterbacks, then, Guru, because the number one pick in the draft, to nobody's surprise, was Kyler Murray to Arizona, a starting quarterback. Their second quarterback pick in 2 years. They picked they picked second last year, and
they picked 10th.
10th, but they got Rosen, who was then traded to Miami for peanuts almost this year. But Kyler was the first quarterback we saw.
Salted peanuts.
Yeah, right. At least they're not bad peanuts. They're pretty good. We saw Kyler go number one. We saw the Giants have the big question here, and this was a big choice. They went with Jones over Haskins. So Haskins fell to DC. Your boys pick him up this year. We saw Rosen, of course, go to Miami, and we saw Drew Luck find his way to John Elway in Denver. So my condolences to Drew Luck, by the way. You had a good run, buddy.
The Almanac will like that pick. He made that pick.
He did. Was that one of yours? Did you have that one down?
Yeah, he made that pick. Too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the quarterbacks. Any of these picks surprise you? I mean, the Giants pick seemed to be the big shocker here. Jones over Haskins.
Absolutely. The thing about it is, I like Jones. Okay, so I'm not looking at the picking of Jones specifically. I like Jones. I think that's a great pick. I have him as a first round grade. You know, even when we did our mock draft, I like the guy. I like the kid. But the thing about having a draft, it's about value. The great GMs, the great front office, it's about value. You know, when it comes to value, you could get Jones in a later situation. You know, you could always get him there. That's when it said value of the draft. You don't necessarily have to get him at 6. Even though you loved him, you want him, you don't have to do that Mitch Trubisky, like what Ryan Pace did over there in Chicago a couple years ago. You don't need to. The way the draft was coming to you, you'd have easily, if you'd have been patient, because the draft was coming towards him. This is a D-line reach draft. We're talking about in the NFC East, you got a franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz. You have a franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, right? You know, and now obviously you knew the Redskins were looking for a franchise quarterback, obviously. So
they let one go.
And in a sense, what did I tell you? If you don't have they believe they have a franchise quarterback. They did a free agency and did some O-line. So what everybody expected with the process is you get a D-line to chase the other team's franchise quarterback, which they didn't do, especially in a draft that was so rich in D-line talent. They went with that quarterback. That was the lack of value.
Well, we should note here, looking back, both you guys had the Giants taking defensive players. Guru, you had him taking Gary. Almanac, you had him taking Oliver as the quarterbacks anyway. But this was the pick itself. He kind of fits Gettleman. I think Gettleman was confused because he looks like Eli Manning, and I think it was like, that's got to be the guy. He's going to fit perfectly right over there in the picture. He's going to be perfect. But it's not. I would have taken Haskins. I thought he was the guy that would go. But Jones, again, the question is, why take him so early? That's not. That now you could have had him later. You could have traded down for that. You could have picked up a second rounder and gotten another defensive player. You could have, you don't gotta go. You don't gotta blow the load for fucking Daniel Jones.
Hey, make John Elway look good with that Drew Luck situation. Hey, there might be a role change in the call out. Shout out, baby. John Elway got replaced for Dave Gettleman, baby.
Almanac, jump in here. What did this pick surprise you?
Yeah, it actually did surprise me. But if they believe, I disagree with what you guys are saying, but I don't think
how so, man?
Guy, but if I'm a GM and I believe that this guy's my franchise quarterback, then I'm gonna take him with at number 6. I'm not gonna risk it that he's gone or some team could trade up for him. If I believe in my heart that this guy, he's gonna lead my franchise to Super Bowls, then I'm not going to take a chance to draft him 10 spots later. I'm going to go ahead and draft him number 6.
There is some sense to that, because if your scouting department prizes him higher than the media, maybe somebody else's does too. I hear what you're saying, and I understand your logic, Almanac, but we're talking about Daniel Jones out of Duke, and I don't think that he's going anywhere. Now
I don't either.
But I hear what you're saying. So this is a big bet for Gettleman here. This is Guru. You got your eye on him already for the call outs and shout outs.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, man, get the heck out of here.
I see what you're saying, Almanac. I get it. If you want the guy, this is the guy. But the thing is, though, this is not as black and white as that, because we already know Dave Gettleman says Eli Manning is going to be the starter. So obviously you're picking a value pick, which just diminishes your value. Now it's like buying a car now instead of buying a house. When you buy a franchise, you're buying the house. What they did is just bought a car. So as soon as you you sign your name and send that check, it's diminished value. In a house now, that increases value. Major difference.
I do look forward to Jones ending up like backing up Brady in a year or two, and then somehow taking over for the Patriots and winning a Super Bowl up there. That's the way this will end up going. Is that he'll bomb out in New York and win it and win it elsewhere.
And it'll be the end of Dave Gettleman.
Well, it'll be the end of Dave Gettleman if he bombs out in New York. It won't matter where he shows up anywhere else. It might be the rebirth of Gettleman there. So then the next question becomes Kyler Murray. We knew he was going to Arizona. That's a pick. That's their new coach, Cliff Klingberg, is going to run that sort of offense. That left Rosen sort of out in the breeze, and they failed to trade him before the draft. Had at a time both of these guys on their roster, and ended up trading him to Miami for less than you would think than he was worth. So how does this one look to you, Almanac? What did you think of this move with Josh Rosen going to Miami?
I thought it was a home run for Miami, a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's get that right off the bat. Miami, we said last week they were the only team without a starting quarterback in the NFL, and they got one.
It's a low risk, all reward. All the guys owed only $6 million for 3 more years on this contract. So
Arizona's that's picking up. He's taking the cap hit on Arizona as well. So how did they screw this up so bad, Guru? How did you're the front office watcher? How did they not trade him before? Because it seems like low value.
You see, the worst GM in the NFL is Dave Gettleman. The second worst GM in the NFL is Steve Keem. It's just what that's what they do, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Obviously, this is a no-brainer. Don't outsmart yourself, okay? Don't outsmart yourself. We knew when you have Cliff Kingsbury, new quarterback, new coach, new quarterback. It just makes sense, all right? And he fits your system. This dude already had on record saying, if he had the first pick in the NFL draft, I would draft Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
This was set in stone, dude. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Take it when the stove is hot. Hey, Josh Rosen, there was a couple of teams I would have guaranteed those big teams I would have given him a second-round pick early. Boom. Trade this dude, move on, sign Kyler Murray, and stop all this shenanigans, man. And that was just a terrible GM move. The way they handled it, it was just ugly, man. It was just a terrible, terrible front office situation and front office handle, man.
Almanac, you agree with this? Just not a good look.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely overplayed his hand, and he ended up having to settle for less than what he would have if he would have initially went on the trade way earlier.
They got Miami's second-round pick in this. And,
the last, like the set, Miami.
Yeah,
the
62nd overall.
Because Miami played a game with them because Miami had it was like the 40-something pick, right? And then they traded down to go to the 67 because they knew they had that leverage and be like, hey, here you go.
Basically, and they got Miami traded down and acquired another pick.
Yeah.
So basically, they got a second-round pick next year, and they ended up the one that they lost. Gave up for Rosen, they get it back next year. So Miami played it brilliantly.
So let's step out from the draft for a second. While we're on it, let me just ask you, Guru, do you like Rosen in Miami? What does this do for them?
I love him in Miami. I think he's a warm weather quarterback, and he's going to play 8 games in a warm weather place. And Miami is going to be defensive minded. So I kind of love it, man. I think it's a fresh start. And look, man. Look at this guy from LA to South Beach, man. Like, come on, man. I said from LA. From LA to Arizona to South Beach. He needs to be in a warm weather climate. This lucky son of a gun, man.
All right, now let's get into this one because I know this is the one you want to talk about anyway. I've been putting it off as long as I can. I see you itching for it. You want to talk about Haskins, the Haskins pick for your
hail to the Redskins,
Washington
hail
Redskins.
Victory. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
You were saying after years of terrible decisions in GMing, this one gives you faith, and you're looking back at the Skins as if this is your team again. Now
Man, didn't you see what I did? That little email I slide over there to the Redskin organization. This is what you should do right here, right now.
This was you.
You know, I told you I'm not going to take credit for it, Danny Snyder. This is anonymous, man.
You sent them the email that was like, listen.
Anonymous, dog, but this is what you're finna do right now.
Listen, if Gettleman fucks everything up, you take Haskins. This is what I'm saying.
I'm going to charge Gettleman for that. I'm going to charge you if you want to need some consultant, man. The guru is out there, Dave.
Well, this is a great pick for a pickup for DC, who are heading into the season with Case Keenum as their quarterback. He'll probably start some games. What do you think? Does this set up the controversy? You start Keenum. What do you do with
value pick, man? There's no controversy over there, man. There's no controversy. This is what we got to do. I like exactly what the Jets did with the Sam Darnold situation. We play this guy in the 4 preseason game, and if he shows any inclination of any type of competency that he could play the quarterback position, he could walk and throw the ball and spit and talk without throwing an INT, every 3 passes, then yes, I think he should be the quarterback. Because honestly, as a Redskins fan, I think, or we should all have that mindset like me right now. Because I think majority of us should have this mindset. This is a dawn year. This is a die year. You know what I'm saying? This is one of them years we know what it is going to be. We know what it is. We know in a rebuilding year. We know it's the last year of Jay Gruden. So it's just one of those situations. Let's just get the kid out there.
You're in the division with the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah, get the kid out there. Let's get his bump and bruises. Let him get some toughness and build some characters and get our culture built from him.
What do you think of this pickup for DC, Almanac? You like this one?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they just let the draft fall to them,
Yeah, this is a lucky pick, man.
Lucky pick.
Yeah. I love their first 2 picks, actually. So Redskins I called the guru that night and told him the Redskins had the best draft on day 1 to me. So
well, you know what? Let's get right to that. We could talk about Drew Luck in Denver another time because I don't think it matters. They got Joe Flacco is their guy up there.
Player Flacco, baby.
That's right. I feel bad for the people of
Jimmy Butler football
Denver that Elway has got. Jimmy, what? So let's talk about who won the draft, because this is always the question every year. Who had the best drafts out there? Who had the best strategies? Some teams were moving around. Some teams were taking players to fill holes. Some were building for the future. It seemed like the Seahawks were just trading assets and filling gaps deep. deep picks on theirs. They took. I got to tell you, I was impressed with this. They took 4 picks in Frank Clark and turned it into 10 picks in this draft,
Man,
and some to bank.
John Schneider is the hustler, man.
That's some Sam Hinkie shit,
Dude,
man.
that is
That's
some
brilliant.
Hustling. Every draft day he's hustling.
So Almanac, you think the Redskins had the best draft here? This they win this one this year?
No, I thought they had the best, first day, the first, as far as the first round pick. But to me, I had a few teams that I was impressed by. A lot of teams draft actually, but I got a couple standouts in my opinion. First, I like Buffalo draft. Getting Ed Oliver, falling to him, letting him fall. I thought he was the most.
I thought that was a
talented.
lucky pickup for them too, that he fell down to Buffalo.
Yeah, and the Cody Ford pick, the offensive lineman from Oklahoma, very versatile, can play east tackle, can play guard also. I thought that was a great pick. I love the New England Patriots, man. I thought they just knocked it out the park. So I thought they hit their first 4 picks in a row. The Patriots had a great draft. I think Denver had a great draft. And Jacksonville also, Jacksonville, as far as letting Josh Allen fall right to them in their hands, I thought he was one of the top 3 or 4 prospects in the draft as well. And their second round pick as well, getting the offensive tackle Jawan Taylor from Florida. A lot of teams had him going in the top 15, and they ended up getting him in the 30s without having to trade. So those are a couple of my standouts. Buffalo, Jacksonville, New England. Oh, I also like what Arizona did too, getting Kyler, and they drafted a lot of weapons, a trio of wide receivers for him. I'm a little worried they didn't attack the offensive line. I think they took a couple late, but I like what Arizona did as well. So those are a few of my standout drafts.
What about you, Guru? Which of the franchises impressed you?
Oh, man, I got a couple of them that I was really, 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 really impressed with, man. I love my guy. I think my guy over there, Chris Ballard with the Colts, they always do an outstanding job. And there's 3 sets, like we mentioned earlier, as far as the draft. If you have a franchise quarterback, what you do is you get the next step is protecting the franchise. After you protect, which they did last year draft, this year now is you getting guys to go attack other teams' franchise quarterback. That's what you do. And they went straight defense the entire draft. I was very impressed. Got some D linemen.
Yeah, they didn't have a first round pick this year, the Colts.
Oh, no, they didn't have no first round pick, but I was very impressed as far as the defensive mindset. They have a specific type of skill set, type of skill players that have to fit their system. They're looking for speed, long arms, long range, and speed, and they did a very good job. Chris Ballard, as always, he's one of the top 5 GMs in the league. So another team that I love what they did was the Eagles. I thought the Eagles did an outstanding job. I thought with the draft of Andre Dillard in the first round, they needed an offensive line. Jason Peters can't play forever, so they have a guy that's going to step in when he.
Much as we would like him to.
Yeah, of course. And the D-line when the Eagles were great in their height of obviously the Super Bowl run, the offensive line and I told you in the preseason where I thought they were the best offensive line that season in football.
Yeah, you kept saying that all year. That was why they were going to win, was they had the best offensive line.
Exactly. And then they also added another runner.
That was year everyone else was talking about the Cowboys.
The Cowboys,
yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, no, this offensive line is freaking unreal. And I love how the fact that they don't have a bunch of needs because they already up there a top tier team. So they specifically got guys to plug in now. So I love the Penn State running back kid. Obviously, when you get a in-state, in a sense, type of guys. And
local
guys.
Love that.
And we know the culture of Penn State. You know the type of guys you're getting from the Big Ten. And ultimately, coming down to the number 1 team that I believe that had the best draft is the Washington Redskins.
Oh, yeah,
the
Homer.
Washington Redskins. Ain't no homo about it,
Yeah,
man.
Homer.
I don't even watch The Simpsons, man. I'm a South Park guy, man.
Surprise.
So I'm not even no homo. I love everything about it, man. As far as value picks, Dwayne Haskins fell right there on the 15 pick.
Surprise.
Beautiful pick. I thought Montez Sweat is a top 10 draft pick. Obviously, in the mock draft, I had him going top 10, and we had him towards the end of the first round as far as the defensive end. We also have Terry McLaurin. I love that receiver. I love the speed guys, and he also got a relationship with Haskins. So I look for that for that to continue. And I love our sneaky pick over there with Bryce Love. I think he's going to be a very, very productive back, especially the way how we use that type of back. He's going to replace who I believe is Chris Thompson. So he's going to have an outstanding career. I just love we actually look for guys that actually fit exactly the scheme fit, and the guys that actually fit the talent. So it was a combination of that, and for the first time in many, 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 many countless years, I could say the Redskins actually showed direction and showed a sense of, to the fan base like myself, hey, we're getting identity. This is what we're going to do. Basically, we have a plan.
I wish I could believe that, but Dan Snyder is still running the show up there, and he will.
Thank you. Yeah,
he'll smash that plan on a whim with his stupidity and narcissism.
And mind you, now this is two NFC East foes on the right here. It is the Eagles and the Cowboys. So we just want to save that. I have to say that now with a grain of salt. What you guys are saying about my Redskins?
Yeah. I will say that I would love to see the Cowboys falter and destroy and burn in fire as well. But at the same time, I respect Jerry Jones in a way that I do not Dan Snyder, and I just don't think. I think it's Snyder and Dolan are up there as the worst possible owners, and I go back and forth. I don't know which is. Every now and again, I bring it on the 2-minute drill because it frustrates. Who's the worst team to play for? Would it be Snyder or Dolan?
No, Snyder pays the guys, so you don't want to. The guys play. You come there. You just come there when you're old, man, because he takes you for the rest of your life and the family and the kids' life and the kids' life.
Well, now turn this around for me, Guru. Who lost the draft? Which teams did you watch? Like, who did the worst this year?
There's a couple of teams that really stood out to me. The Oakland Raiders really stood out to me.
What is John Gruden doing?
There was reports coming into the draft that they basically kicked out the whole scouting department, right?
Right.
So then basically it was Mike Mayock and John Gruden.
Yeah.
So basically this is what Mike Mayock and John Gruden did for as far as the Oakland Raiders scouting department. Hey, this is a conversation between Mike and John and John. Hey, Mike, we got a draft coming up, man. And they go, Mike. Well, John, you know what? I got some players. Let's watch the 2019 National Championship game. We could just draft all those guys from that. They're winners. John, oh my God, that is genius. That is genius, Mike. That's exactly what the Oakland Raiders did.
And scene. Very nice. Very nicely done. It's funny because I was going to say I could be the scout at the Raiders. That was the one game I saw this year, too. So I knew the guys there. I was like, I know these guys.
Hey.
I don't do any research. These are the guys I would pick.
That's like whoever win the lottery would be like, hey, I'm just going to pick Zion. I'm going to pick
right,
RJ Barrett.
Doesn't matter.
Just the guys I saw on TV, right?
The Raiders, of course, picked Clennon Farrell with the number 4 pick. That is a surprise pick coming in. We didn't have them. I don't think we had him in the top 10. Either one of you. That kind of came out of nowhere. Then they took Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Allen, Trayvon Mullen. They just picked. It's a lot of the top. I don't have a lot of faith in John Gruden right now either. I don't know what's going on in Oakland. If I were an Oakland fan, I would be concerned. I think is what I'm saying.
Why? You only got one more season. They don't even worry about your problem.
That's why I would be concerned.
No, because they're going to Vegas. Remember?
That's true. You know what?
If you're an Oakland fan, don't worry. You only got one more season, and you got to worry about them no more. It's Vegas' problem.
What are they going to do on Sunday? Walking around with their spikes on and their face painted, looking all sad. I just heading down to the roller
derby. They're about to be a 49ers fans anyways, man. Shanny and those boys are killing it over there in San Fran, man. It's only about it's down the road, man. They could just switch right over to be a 49ers fan.
So Guru's got the Raiders almanac. Who do you got losing this draft?
I got two teams. First was the New York Giants because I thought they totally overreached for Daniel Jones, and also the other pick, Dexter Lawrence. I like Dexter Lawrence as a player, but to me, he's more of a 3-4 defensive lineman, and I don't think the Giants are playing 3-4 system. I think they're 4-3. So that pick kind of didn't make sense to me.
That could be a problem.
Yeah. Also, Houston Texans. I thought they reached a little early for some guys. The offensive lineman Tyus Howard. He's out of a FCS level at Alabama State. I think they totally reached for him in the first round. Also, I think they reached for their other offensive tackle, Matt Sharping. So I don't really like Houston's draft, and as well as the New York Giants draft. I think they totally like reached for guys or either took guys that I don't think fit their system. So for me, those, and I agree with the Guru on the Raiders as well. Like, I mean, like 80-90% of their whole draft was Clemson and Alabama guys. So I mean,
So then, who surprised you guys? Who are the sleeper picks in here? The ones you didn't see coming, but you're like, you know what? That's a sneaky good pick, man. Were there any that they took where you thought actually a sneaky good pick that could really pay off?
talking about some players.
Yeah, man. The teams.
Oh yeah, I got a few. All right, I go with my first one, and I'm kind of giving. I hate to say this because me and the Guru play in my fantasy league, so he probably gonna try to jack me. But one of my favorite picks was David Montgomery, the running back from Iowa State, going to Chicago. He's a 3-down back. I think he's gonna be Jordan Howard's replacement. You know, even though they got Tariq Cohen in Chicago,
Jordan Howard now playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Just want to mention that for you NFC East guys.
Would they draft an offensive line? But go ahead.
Tariq Cohen, he's not a every down back. He's more of a third down back gadget guy. So I think David Montgomery is going to take over and be that lead back in Chicago, and I think he'll have one of the top years for a rookie. I also like the Guru said, I like the Bryce Love pick in the 4th round. You know, if he would have came out last year, he probably would have been a late first, early second rounder at the latest. Also, some wide receivers who I like, who I think went to teams that fit them. Paris Campbell going to Indianapolis. You know, he got that 4.3 speed, and all he needs, you can throw little quick passes to him. That's what more of the NFL is becoming. You know, more and more college get the ball out quick. So I like Paris Campbell going to Colts on that that fake surface. So the speed is even more noticeable on the dome. And I like Deebo Samuel going to the 49ers from South Carolina. You know, the do-it-all wide receiver. Yeah, he's a Swiss Army knife. He can play every position. And I think Kyle Shanahan is going to have a ball, scheming up some plays for him. And my last one is Justice Hill, going to the Baltimore Ravens. You know, they got Mark Ingram. He's going to be more of the lead guy. Justice Hill, he'll be more of the speed back. And along with Lamar Jackson, I think that rush offense can be, pretty scary. So those are some of the guys who I like and the fits that they went to.
That's good with me, man. Some sleeper picks in there that I hadn't thought of.
Yeah, he got two of my guys I was gonna mention. Obviously, I love Deebo. I love Deebo Samuels with Shanahan. I just love his game. I love the way the Shanahan's gonna utilize him. I'm a big Shanahan fan, and obviously being over here and being in the NFC West side of things, we're going to see a bunch of him, and I hate to see him because we better get an inside corner that could handle this kid because he's a flat-out man. He's a man. And don't you call me Homer, call me Homer Simpson. You could call me, South Park, whatever. But I love Bryce Love. I'm sticking with the love, man. The love pick. But next to that, I love the receiver we picked up, man. This one receiver I like. I like Kelvin Harmon from North Carolina State. Yep. Man, that is my guy. I'm a big fan of this, man. Back-to-back 1,000-yard season in the ACC, which is without a quarterback. I mean, he has a good quarterback, an NFL quarterback, and he was the number one receiver, and I think he's a sleeper. He remind me of that Mohamed Sanu type. He's a tough. He make catches in contested catches. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but when the ball's in the air, man, it's not 50-50 with him, man. It's more like 90-10 with this kid. So I love this kid's talent, man, and that's my ultimate sleeper right there.
I'm actually going to say I think one of the sleeper picks in this draft could end up being Daniel Jones. It has to be thrown out there that such a surprise pick coming out there, and I wouldn't have taken him. I've been shitting on him all show for the pick. But as I think about it, if there's going to be a sleeper in this one, if there's going to be the middle finger pick, if there's the one guy, there's two guys in this draft who are a little like fuck you, and one of them is Haskins, who had the fuck you face when he didn't get picked by the Giants. It was like I think the league made a big mistake, and he's got that out to prove something falling down there because that cost him some money falling down that far to the Redskins from the Giants. You can make a lot more money at 6 than you do not at 6. Yeah, than you do down there. So there's that one. And I also think that actually Jones himself should have a something to prove chip on his shoulder, because everybody being like, who? What? Why? You gotta. I would think that he's got to step up. Like, all right, give me the ball. You know, like this could end up being the sleeper pick. I'm not betting on it, but it has to be said that this would be the surprise of it all. It would be that if he turns out, I think would be what this draft would be noted for. Like, really?
No, and then the worst is gonna happen. Then everybody's gonna say Dave Gettleman is the genius of all geniuses.
Oh God!
You can't have that happen, bro.
Everybody be shocked. All right, well, listen, guys, we are running up on an hour here, getting close in time that we want to get out of here for this show, talk about the draft. So, what do you say we move on to a 2-minute drill and get on out of here? Almanac, you want to stick around for the 2-minute drill again?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, so here's what we're going to do with the 2-minute drill. It's our chance on the show to talk about everything we didn't get to on the show. I put 2 minutes on the clock, and I start lobbing questions at the guru. But I think what we're going to do on this one is it'll be a little bit longer, because we got to talk about the NBA playoffs. Talked a little bit about the Sixers in the beginning.
Of course we are.
Of course we are. So let's get this started. You ready, guru?
Just get it.
Here we go. All right, so the first thing I want to ask you about is Harden. James Harden came out against the referees after Game 1, saying all he wants is a fair shake, Guru. He just wants the game called fairly. Do you think the Rockets were robbed in Game 1 by bad calls by the ref?
No, they were robbed by Kevin Durant. That's who they were robbed by. Instead of worrying about what the ref's doing, they should worry about number 35.
Almanac, you got thoughts on Harden getting robbed?
Yeah, and now look, I'm no fan of Harden because this guy flops a lot. But honestly, I've been watching basketball all year, and they have been calling that whenever a guy shoots a shot and somebody steps up, put their foot up on him, they've been calling that a foul all year long. And I thought they missed about 4 or 5 of those in the first half of that game that they did not call. So if I'm a player, I just want consistency, man. If you've been calling something all year, then I expect it to be that.
Whoa.
It's a shit call. It's been a shit call all year, but it's been a shit call all year.
Hey, this is not all your nonsense. This is a playoff, dude. That's why there's only specific teams, dog. All season means every team in the league. When you're in the playoff, it's a different type of situation, bro. Forget that all.
I know. He got those calls last round, though.
You cannot stick your foot under nobody when they're shooting, man. Look what it did to Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs 2 years ago. You can't do that.
Hey, look, when did that happen in the playoff, right? Shit happened in the playoff,
Yo, at the same time, you can't do that, but at the same time, Harden fucking flops. Harden throws himself out there. He is trying to get those fouls. He's almost getting the fouls more than he's taking the shots at that point. He's throwing his body around to get hit and not necessarily make the shot. He got something like 25 more foul calls than anyone else. You know, like he takes so many more foul shots from the three because he throws himself around at it. That said, Almanac's right. They were giving it to him all year long. All right, listen, we're running out of time. I'm just stupid. It's a 2-minute drill here. I want to ask you about Dame's dagger over Oklahoma City. That shot. Is this the curse of Clay? The curse of Clay Bennett alive and well, or what?
We hate OKC.
Yeah, fuck them. I just wanted to get that in there. Fuck OKC. Love watching them lose. So that was Blazers or Nuggets, Guru? That one went to
Damn. So either I should blaze. After I blaze, I go eat some nuggets. Ooh, I love this, though. This is going to be the best high story ever. Oh, shit. We talking about basketball?
Yeah, sorry, man. My bad.
Oh, shit.
Back over here.
Oh, my God.
The Nuggets are the only Game 7. Went to Game 7 with the San Antonio Spurs.
I'm going with the closest team. Damn, both of them have illegal weed. Damn, I don't even know which state I should go for, man. I'm going with the blue state. Which one is the closest thing to blue?
Probably the Nuggets.
Nuggets, then.
All right, he's taking the blue team.
Plus, I take that McDonald's chicken nuggets, baby.
That is the expert analysis we've come to expect over here. Almanac, why don't you give me your pick on this one? Who you like, Blazers or Nuggets?
I'll go with the Blazers because I think they have the best player in the series in Damian Lillard, so I'll just go with that.
Absolutely, and I don't believe in the Nuggets. I never have. I can't believe they got past the Spurs. What? I picked the Spurs.
Hey, you better get. Hey, you never went to McDonald's and got that McNuggets, man.
I'm not eating those McNuggets anymore, man. I know what they make them out of now. All right, Sixers Raptors trading blows. Who you like in this one?
Come on, man. I'm sticking with my guns, man. I'm going with the Sixers, man.
I'm going with the Sixers as well, but I gotta tell you, man, Kawhi Leonard looks like a world beater up there sometimes.
Man, Joel Embiid is that dude, man.
I hope so. That's all I can say is I hope so, and I hope Jimmy Butler continues to be that dude. Almanac, who you like in this one?
I like Toronto, but if Joel Embiid was 100%, I definitely would take Philly, but I'm going with Toronto.
I gotta pick the Sixers, but
you're wearing a Sixers hat right now.
I'm wearing a Sixers hat right now, but I this is the one that worries me. I picked the Raptors to win the East, so it's tough to say that I picked the Raptors to win the East, but I'm picking the Sixers to beat them in this series.
How the hell did I pick?
You got your mic unplugged there, man.
No, I didn't.
Let's turn that mic off. It's got a switch, man. All right, so
that's how you talking about blazing. That's why I didn't pick the Blazers, man. All that blazing out here got me freaking.
All right, Bucks Celtics. They're trading blows too. They traded blowouts actually. Celtics win game 1 in big convincing fashion. Bucks win game 2 in the same big convincing fashion. I'm gonna go Almanac first on this one. How do you like this one coming out?
Man, before the series started, I liked Milwaukee, but after watching the first 2 games, even though they both went opposite, both teams blew each other out. I trust Boston more. I think Boston will end up winning. I think they might win the 6 or they might win the 7, but I trust Boston more. I just trust their coach, and I trust Kyrie more than I trust Milwaukee guys.
I agree. Boston's a dangerous team here. They're the ones to me that when they figure it out and put it together, they're the toughest team in the East as far as I'm concerned, even more than the Raptors. Because I think the Raptors are a deeper team. I think they've got the better bench, but I think the better collection of players that can be put on the floor are Boston. I feel that way about against the Bucks as well. So I've been picking Boston here. I was surprised the Bucks actually blew them out in game 2. I didn't think it would go that way.
Yeah, I like the Bucks in this one just because I think the Bucks would be an easier road for the Sixers to go to the championship game. So just with that and me picking with the Sixers, I'm going with the Bucks.
All right, the final series then is, of course, the Warriors-Rockets. The Warriors take a 2-0 lead on this one tonight with a 115-109 over the Rockets. Is this the last we've seen of the Rockets, Guru?
Man, the Rockets, I just didn't like the matchup. I don't think anybody got to be a great genius here to see. We all understand it. I think it could be a unanimous to say this is the best offensive powers team we've seen in the history of the NBA in the world, other than the Dream Team.
And we've pissed
off. Take
off.
away the Dream Team, okay?
Yeah, of course. And in this one, we've pissed off Kevin Durant now. He's woken up. He's angry.
You know him.
And you know who he is.
You know who he is.
It's funny because I said last week that I didn't think they would lose another game. They lost the next game after I said it. I don't know if they lose another though, because I'm telling you,
it's a terrible matchup.
Durant's activated. If they're not calling the fouls for Harden, that's going to throw that game. I don't think they got it here. And I think
the biggest insurance policy. What did Steve Kerr always say? The biggest insurance policy in sports.
Kevin Durant. All right.
Yeah.
Final NBA question here. Who do you think's better set up for next year, considering the first round losses here? The Clippers or the Nets? Both got bounced in the first round this year. Surprising playoff appearances by both of them. Who's better set up for next year to get the big free agents and make the push? The LA Clippers or the Brooklyn Nets? Almanac.
The team that's in Los Angeles.
Well, the Brooklyn team is in New York, man.
Yeah, but they're not deep. Well, I guess both these teams. Okay, let's be honest. Both these teams are the side chicks. In LA, you got the Lakers.
They are.
And Clippers are, and then in New York, you got the Knicks, and then you got Brooklyn. So both these teams, they mirror each other. They really mirror each other a lot. Both of them have surprising years. Both of them are scrappy, hard playing teams. Both have a lot of cap space. But I ultimately think that LA is set up. They got a better owner. They got a better coach.
That's the difference.
And the only thing that they're missing
over
a superstar.
Yeah,
over
and they actually have money for 2 max guys they can get. So yeah, I got to go with the Clippers here.
Me too. I think it's the Clippers on this one. Guru, what about you?
Definitely, man. When all else fails, man, we are in Microsoft haven here, man. So obviously, Steve Ballmer, like we always got to go for the Microsoft guys, man. So yeah, the Clippers, obviously, they got slew of money. If it comes down to money, trust me, you can't beat the Microsoft guy. Okay, so I'm going with the Clippers.
Sounds fair to me, although Jay-Z's married to Beyonce and seems to be printing cash at this point, too.
Hey, you know what the printing cash is? Microsoft is the printer.
That's true. They're making the ink. All right, finally, Guru, I want to get into a little bit of fun before we get out of here. The Avengers Endgame opened. It was the first movie I got to see it this weekend. First movie I've seen since Infinity War, thanks to Little Lestro. It made $1.2 billion this weekend. It made this weekend half of what Titanic made in its whole run. That's how much money this movie made this weekend.
Yeah, there's about 1 more billion people now alive than there was when Titanic came out.
Yeah, and every single one of them went to see this movie this weekend, except you, who's going. So no spoilers on this one, Almanac, because Guru hasn't seen it yet. So my question is, what's the greatest spoiler of all time in a movie? What was the biggest moment for you guys that made you just gasp? What was it in a movie? I think for me it was, I'll tell you, it was the at the end of Sixth Sense, when the kid the I See Dead People movie where Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. I was like, I didn't see,
oh my God,
did not see that coming at all.
You know mine was freaking 7.
7.
Yes, you remember?
Yes.
Oh my God, at the end, and I'm like, no, please don't let it be his wife with the pregnant. No.
That's a good one too. What about Almanac? You got a spoiler?
Man, I honestly can't think of any, man.
Nothing that just
that's the spoiler right there.
Made you drop. That's it too. Yeah. Now he sees all. Almanac sees all.
Almanac
I go
Departed.
to extreme levels to avoid spoilers. Like if I know something I haven't seen it, I won't even get on social media that day. Like even with games that I record, like if I'm not home and I'm taping the game, I'll cut all my alerts from Bleacher Report and ESPN off, so I can just watch it from the beginning.
Yeah, you don't take your alert one of me. I tell you,
I'm the same way, man. I avoided.
Ass.
The reason I went to see Avengers this weekend was because I was having trouble avoiding all the spoilers. I even avoided the drag race spoilers from
even the Shady McCoy spoiler.
Shady McCoy blew the ending of the movie. Don't go read his Twitter if you haven't seen the movie, because Shady McCoy dropped a bomb on Twitter the day the movie came out, and his people don't like it. So go from there.
I got one, Lester. You know what my biggest spoiler was? It was in Departed.
I told you that was his movie. Departed. That was your movie.
Like, dude, they killed everybody. Everybody killed each other, and that pissed me. That was a great movie.
That's a good one too. At the end of that one, everybody ends up dead.
That was always an Almanac's movie, man.
Very, very Shakespearean at the end of that one. Everybody ends up dead. That's how it goes. All right, that is our time this week on Trash Talk Radio. Our thanks, of course, to the Almanac for joining us here once again. Catch him back again when we get back into our regular shows and our campus check-in with the Almanac. Almanac, thanks so much for joining us. We will talk to you again, sir. If you're looking for me, Lestro, I am on Twitter at @MoreOrLestro. The Guru is on Instagram at Guru's Film Room. Guru's Film Room is just his thoughts. Make sure you head over to the World of Sports Network YouTube page. That is YouTube. Search for World of Sports Network. Subscribe. Leave us a comment. Make sure you're subscribing to the podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. Leave us a rating. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. You know what? Don't tell us what you don't like. Just tell us what you like. Get in there. Leave us a rating on all the places where you can find podcasts. Make sure you head over to wozenshop.com, WOSNshop.com, for all kinds of Trash Talk Radio and World of Sports merchandise and writings by the Guru. Gets up there every now and again when he can. So until next time, my name's Lestro.
It's the G to the U to the R to the... And real quick, just want to let y'all know, it's about 2 a.m. in where Almanac is. So thank you, Almanac, for staying up all night to helping us with this show. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. No problem, man. No problem.
We'll talk to you guys again. Thanks for listening.
That's the spoiler right there. Let's get